2025 is the year of accomplishing goals. But in order to do that, we need to have routines built that allow us to stay successful, to stay on track, and to continue growing in our careers and in our relationships. So in today's video, I am sharing 7 daily habits that I use to stay productive in 2025. And by the way, I think that number 7 is going to be a little controversial, so I'm excited to hear what you think about it. Habit number 1. I am starting my day off right by making my bed every morning. Personally, I work from home, and it is really difficult for me to stay on task and to stay focused on my work when the area around me is really cluttered. It also clutters my mind. So every morning when I wake up, I make my bed. And I want to preface this by saying not all messes are created equal. And I personally believe that having an unmade bed is like the banana of a messy room smoothie. It just overpowers everything else. You could have a perfectly clean room, everything else could be super clean and tidy, but if your bed isn't made, forget about it, your room's messy. On the other hand, you could have a totally messy room. There could be clothes all over the floor, there could be water bottles on the tabletops, there could be stuff strewn across, but if your bed is made, all of a sudden, it's like the room is put together. So that is something that I always start my day off with so that I can have a clear space going into work. But even if you don't work from home, I actually think that might be even more important because that means you're coming home from work after a long day, and I really don't think you want to be coming home to a mess. I mean, imagine you go to school, you fail your chemistry test, and you come home and your room is unclean. Like, are you kidding me? Or you go to work, have a super long day in the office, and then you come home and all you want to do is relax, but then you have to clean your room. Like, I really don't think that's what you want to be doing. It's not what I want to be doing, so that's why I make my bed every single day. Habit number 2. I know this sounds kind of silly, but I sing the ABCs very early in the morning every day. And you're probably wondering why, but it's because just like I, as a person, have to wake up, my voice does too. And I noticed back when I used to work in the office before I became a virtual employee that I wasn't very friendly in the mornings, especially because I had to start work at 5 a.m. Not wake up at 5 a.m. I had to be in the office by 5 a.m. working, and I think that I just was not socializing with my coworkers and my friends just because I hadn't warmed up my voice. But as soon as I had that first conversation and I said that first word, I realized that I was a lot more likely to continue talking, and I think that that just made me a better person, and it helped me in my relationships with my coworkers because all of a sudden I became a friendly face in the office. And now I still do it. I still sing the ABCs in the morning, even though I'm not going to see so many people in person anymore. I still do talk on Zoom meetings and on phone calls, and it's really important for me to know that I can speak up in those meetings and on those phone calls, and I do that by warming up my voice. Habit number 3 is kind of similar, but every morning when I would go into work, you know, you do the casual, hi, how are you, good, how are you, good. That's actually not what would happen at 5 a.m. What would happen is, hi, how are you? I'm so tired. Oh, me too. And I hated that. We're all getting up at 5 a.m. We're all going into work. We're all tired. Like, I get it. I get that you're tired. I am too. I don't want to hear you complain about it. So I made a promise to myself to never answer how are you with the word tired. I could say I'm good. It's kind of a stupid little answer. Everybody says good, but that was still more important to me to have just kind of a fakey little answer than to have a negative one. And I think even if you don't start work at 5 a.m., it is very common for people to choose the negatives to focus on in life. So I encourage you, even if it's a kind of passive answer and you're just saying, oh, I'm fine, how are you, good? I think that it's important that if we're gonna be passive, we might as well be positive while we're doing that. So I encourage you to say that you're doing good or fine, or say something more specific about your day than just choosing to complain, because I promise everyone around you is tired as well. Everyone around me was tired, and that's why I didn't want to draw any more attention to it. Habit number 4. It is no longer morning. We are living our lives, we're going throughout our days, and suddenly I find myself on Instagram, and I'm doom scrolling. And I don't know how long I've been doom scrolling for. I don't even know how I got onto Instagram. I'm already on it before I realize I'm on it. And that scares me because that means that I have the habit of opening up that app and doom scrolling before I have the habit of making a conscious choice of what to do. So anytime I have a break at work, or I'm going to the restroom, or I'm in the break room, if I'm going to pick up my phone and I'm going to go onto Instagram, I ask myself, why? Why am I on Instagram? If it's for a valid reason, if I'm checking a DM, if I'm following up with something that somebody posted earlier on, if I'm waiting for an announcement for somebody to post, then I can check it, that makes sense. But if I don't even know why I'm going on, if I'm on it before I even realize it, that's a problem. And I don't want to be wasting my time like that. And it's really hard for me to catch myself when I am on Instagram because, like I said, I'm on it before I even realize it. So how can I ask myself, why am I on Instagram? The way that I do that is with an app called Screen Zen. In my very first video I created for this channel, I talked about how one of my New Year's resolutions was to use less technology, and Screen Zen has really helped me accomplish that goal. Since using it, my average screen time has actually gone down by about an hour since I posted that original video. So it's really cool for me to see that this app is really helping me accomplish those goals by staying off of technology. And the way that it works is every time I open up the app of Instagram, without fail and without an option to overwrite it, I have to wait 30 seconds. I just have to take a breath and I have to wait 30 seconds for the app to open. And that is the perfect amount of time for me to ask myself, why am I here? Because it disrupts my routine. And that's exactly what I need to build a new habit and to ask myself, why am I going on Instagram? So that I can make sure that the reason I'm going on it is productive. Habit number 5 is also asking myself a question. And the question is, why was today the best day ever? I've realized that each day, when I'm actively seeking out a reason to celebrate, I am happier, I am more joyful, and because of that, my head is clearer to focus on my goals and to continue moving forward in life, rather than being stuck in a negative headspace or stuck in the past. And for that reason, it makes me more productive. It also just makes me a happier person, and I believe that that's so important because it attracts other happy people and other productive people, and those are the exact kind of friends that I want to surround myself with moving forward. If you think that this is a cool concept, I encourage you to check out this video series. I actually started documenting why I think that every day is the best day ever, and it seems like you guys kind of like it based off of the views, so I'm definitely going to continue doing it, not only because it helps my channel, but also because it helps me stay focused on my goals and stay focused on the good in life. Habit number 6 is tracking my budget. I make sure to record all of the money that I'm making and all of the money that I'm spending every day. This is super important for me because it allows me to make sure that I am staying on track with the goals that I have set for myself. For example, there's a pageant that I'm competing in November that I am super excited for. I actually just recently signed up, so let me know if you want to hear more about that in a future video. It has a really expensive entry fee, and that's something that I have to consider. I also want to pay off all of my student loans by the age of 25, and I also want to retire as a multimillionaire in my 50s. So in order to take all of this into consideration and to achieve all of this in the future, I have to stay on track today and align myself with these goals today and take the steps every day to make sure that I will be able to achieve these when the time comes. And the only way that I can do that is by being aware of the money that I'm making and the money that I'm spending so I can ensure I have enough when I need it. I talk a lot about tracking my budget and the importance of it and how I do it in this video, so I encourage you to check that out. But as a little sneak peek, I will let you know that I actually use somebody else's budget tracker. Her name is Deborah Ho, and you can also look her up. She went viral on TikTok for this Google Docs spreadsheet, and I found it super useful, and I think that you might as well if you also want to start tracking your budget every day to stay aligned with your goals. Habit number 7. And I'm not sure if you're gonna like this one, but if I have a long to-do list of things that I need to get done, I do the most important task last. And I know that sounds counterintuitive because if it's super important, we should be getting it done first. But trust me when I say procrastination is the best way to ensure that you get every other single little thing done. Because if I have something important to do that I have to do, I'm gonna do it. I have to. There's no negotiating that. So if I leave it for last, that ensures that I do everything else in the meantime. Whereas if I start with that task, then I'm done for the night. I don't really need to get anything else done, so I may not. and I just know that about myself. So that's why I always save the most important thing for last, because it keeps me productive and it allows me to keep checking off everything else on my to-do list. I actually launched an LLC at the age of 20 several years ago. I am now 23. I no longer have the LLC. I have since terminated it because it stressed me out. But little did I know, terminating the LLC would not end the stress, and it would not end the paperwork, and it would not end the to-do lists. So now every time something pops up that I have to do with that, I am so stressed out about it because I just feel so out of touch with all of that information and the business itself that I don't want to do it. So just last week, I actually had paperwork from the IRS that I had to fill out, which is like the most stressful entity that could be requesting anything from me regarding my business. But I knew that if I did it first, I would not do anything else because it was stressing me out so much, and the relief that would come from having it done would just make me want to relax. And of course, once I actually did finally do it, it took me like 3 seconds, and I should have known that, and I shouldn't have waited and put it off. But because I did put it off, I got every other little thing done. I did the laundry, I made dinner, I did the dishes, I put them away, I took the dog for a walk, and I cleaned up the dog toys. Would I have done any of that if I had just quickly signed that form and sent it off to the IRS and then been done for the night? No. So that is why I always save the last item to be the most stressful and important task and the one with the soonest deadline. If you made it this far into the video, I would love to hear which productivity habit you found the most helpful and that you think you're going to adopt into your daily life. But I would also like to hear if you have any other habits or tips that you think I would benefit from. Please comment them below. I'm always looking for better ways to create my systems and to create my routines so that I can stay aligned with all of the goals that I talked about in this video. In the meantime, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps my channel out a lot, and it also helps me achieve more of my goals. Thank you. Bye.